Welcome to the outlet. All right, so on this particular episode, and this is also, by the way, this is technology and universe, or tech and the universe. But we're going to be talking about viruses on this particular episode. So, and this is something that you could use for, say, if you want to study for a certification in IT, cybersecurity. I'm gonna go over a lot of stuff in that. Well, basically on this particular episode, just viruses and malware. Um, so first of all, what is malware? It's software that's designed to infiltrate a computer system and possibly damage it without the user's knowledge or consent. And there's the category of viruses, worms, there's Trojan horses, there's ransomware, spyware, rootkits, and then there's also spam. All right, so I'm gonna give you a little bit more on viruses, right? Viruses or computer viruses are malicious code that runs on a machine without the user's knowledge and affects the computer when executed. Also, something else to know about viruses, it requires user action in order to reproduce and spread. All right, so now let me get into, there's something called the boot sector, a boot sector virus, and they are stored in the first sector of a hard drive and are loaded into a memory upon boot up. All right, then there's the micro. Now that's a virus that's embedded into a document and is executed when a document is opened by the user. Then there's the program viruses that affect the executable or application, right? So, and I know y'all heard about different viruses and worms, like making companies go offline, companies losing so much money. Yeah, right. But let me go. Another virus is it's something called the multi. I guess that's how you say it. Multi-partite. Partite. I don't even know how to say it precisely, but that's a virus that combines the boot and the program viruses to first attach itself to the boot sector and system files before attacking other files on the computer. Um, there's those viruses that are encrypted. There's holomorphic viruses. Now, these are advanced versions of an encrypted virus that changes itself every time it is executed by altering the decryption module to avoid detection. Then there's the multimorphic virus. Now, that's like another level up. That's a virus that is able to rewrite itself entirely before it attempts to affect a file. And it's the advanced version of a polymorphic virus. Then there's also a virus called stealth virus. And it's kind of just like another category of virus. Basically, it's going to try to hide itself from the antivirus, from finding it. Then there's the armored virus. Now, the armored virus has a layer of protection to confuse, program, or a person analyzing it. So the armored virus, yes, is trying to confuse you, or anybody that's trying to analyze it. Then there's the hoax. The host is something you probably have run into a couple of times, like when you click on something and it takes you to the wrong website, and it's saying that you've been hacked or you have ransomware, but you really don't. It's a hoax. Um, there's also, as everybody has heard of, worms. Now, a worm is malicious software like a virus, but is able to replicate itself without user interaction. Worms self-replicate and spread without a user's consent or action. Worms can cause disruption to normal network traffic and computing activities. Um, there are multiple examples of worms. I'll get into that on another episode. But worms have taken down a lot of networks, and a lot of companies have lost a lot of money. Um, let's keep going. There's something called a Trojan horse. Now, a Trojan horse is malicious software that is disguised as a piece of harmless or desirable software. So it's software that you think nothing's wrong with it, right? You think you're downloading the correct software, but in actuality, it's malware is embedded into that software. Um, there's the remote access Trojan. It provides the attacker with remote control of a victim computer and is the most commonly used type of Trojan. So the most commonly used Trojan is a remote access Trojan. Then there's the ransomware. No, everybody's heard of ransomware. Ransomware is malware that restricts access to a victim's computer system until a ransom is received. Ransomware uses a vulnerability in your software to gain access and then encrypts your files. Um, there's been many examples of that also. All right, so let me see. There's something called spyware. Now, spyware is malware that secretly gathers information about the user without their consent. So some I could think of as spyware is probably I forgot what it's called. It's like it basically copies your keystrokes. Um, yeah, so captures something that captures your keystrokes made by the victim and takes screenshots that are sent to the attacker. Yes, that is something that actually can happen. Um, there's adware, displays advertisements based upon it spying on you. There's grayware, software that isn't benign nor malicious and tends to behave improperly without serious consequences. Um, there's rootkits, software designed to gain administrative level control over a system without detection. Then there's the DLL injection, which is commonly used by rootkits to maintain their persistent control. And DLL injection, let me see how you say it. Data link layer, I think. Data link layer injection. I think that's how you say it, what it stands for. Um, the data link layer injection is malicious code that is inserted into a running process on a Windows machine. By taking advantage of, it's dynamic link libraries. I'm tripping. That are loaded at runtime. Hmm. Dynamic link libraries. It, drive manipulation is another one. Now, drive manipulation is an attack that relies on compromising the kernel mode device drivers that operate at a privilege or system level. Something else to know about driver manipulation is a shim that is placed between two components to intercept calls and redirect them. So I'm going to say it again. Driver manipulation is an attack that relies on compromising the kernel mode device drivers that operates at a privilege or system level. It's also something else to know about is a shim placed between two components that intercepts calls and redirects them. So it kind of reminds you of a man in the middle attack. There's the rootkits are activated before booting the operating system and are difficult to detect. Something else to know. There's spam. Now, spam is activity that abuses electronic message systems. most commonly through email. Spammers often exploit a company's open mail relays sends their messages. I'll say that again. Spammers often exploit a company's open mail relays to send their messages. Then there's CAN-SPAM Act of 2003. That was something that happened. So that's just a quick summary of like what all these viruses are and malware. I think I talked about everything I want to talk about. Oh, I also forgot to promote. I got a copy of my one of my guests I had on here. It's called Rerouting, Resilience Tools and Tactics by Duncan Kurtwood. Everybody should go check it out. Um, you should also go check out the podcast, right? Um, the podcast is on Anchor, Spotify, basically where any podcast is at, you can find the Outlet News Media. And there's different versions of it though. There's the Outlet Red Theory, the Outlet Tech in the Universe, which is basically what I just did today. And there's another one called the Outlet News Media Aspire. So yeah, go check those out. And I will talk to y'all next time. Talk to y'all later.